Hey everyone, and welcome back. So I want to do a sort of mini update video. I was actually going to wait for this for the actual update video, which I'll be doing very, very soon. But I decided, you know what, this actually deserves sort of its own kind of mini video in a way. Because I think, I think I've been talking about it for a long time, but specifically I've actually been planning this for at least a year. Technically more than that, but I mean, for sure, as far as like research and watching the market and different stores and stuff, like that's pretty much been going on for about a year now. And that is indeed, I did finally upgrade my 4K player. I did just get the Panasonic UB9000. And for those of you who don't know, that's sort of like Panasonic's sort of flagship player. It's very expensive. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, look it up. It's but well, I'll just tell you, it's $1,000 basically. And I debated for a very long time, but that's really the way I wanted to go. Now, I do want to say up front, just in case, for those of you who don't normally watch my channel, maybe you came across this video because you saw it was about the player or something. I'm not reviewing the player or anything in this video. Actually, I don't even have it hooked up yet. But I will be doing a video on my thoughts on it coming up. I don't want anyone to get like 2 minutes into the video and be like, when is he going to talk about, the features and everything? I'm not going to get into that. But I do hope you stick around at the very least, and come back for at least that video and hopefully a couple other ones as well. Now, as some of you know, I've mentioned about upgrading my player. I have a Sony, I can't remember, it's like an 800 series. It was an early Sony 4K player. And I've had it now for about 5 years, actually almost exactly 5 years now. In fact, if I remember correctly, I think I actually got it during a Black Friday sale. I think I got it for like $150 or something. It's a great price, and it's served me well over the years, but the problem is, one, it's a very early player. Since then Sony's come out with other players. In fact, I think it was even an upgraded version of that player. And, like in any format, there are things that sort of come, that are there in the beginning and they sort of evolve as things go on. Little things, obviously, like Dolby Vision wasn't there in the beginning, if I remember correctly, as well as, multi-layer discs. And you did have, I think you did have multi-layer discs, but now they even have more layers depending on content, length of movie and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of that has changed. And sometimes they can be, no matter how many firmware upgrades you can do, there are just sometimes there can be certain technical aspects that a player just can't do. And indeed, that's what's happened with my Sony. So for example, my Sony with certain discs will literally just freeze up. Certain layer changes, it'll like just freeze. Sometimes it's momentary. It'll just sort of like freeze and then maybe jump like a second or two. And other times it freezes completely and I literally have to like, unplug it and plug it back in, inject it and all that kind of stuff. Some discs are worse than others. For some reason, like Warner Brothers discs seem to be the worst. They seem to be the ones that really freeze up the most for me. But I mean, after a while, when I started seeing it more and more, it finally got to the point where I was like, man, I really got to upgrade my player. And it's kind of funny because like some friends of mine, we all kind of message each other around the same time. I think one of my friends messaged the rest of us like, I've been thinking about upgrading my player because we all have the same player. And the rest of us were just kind of like, I've been thinking about that too. And when I did a lot of research, I wanted something that had not only a lot of features and a lot of, the freezing probably isn't going to be 100%. I think all players basically can be a little sensitive to that. But if I can take care of the problem, at least most of the time, I will be happy. But there were other features I was looking into. So for example, obviously I use a projector, which you can see right there. It's a Sony projector. And one of the things about projectors, at least currently, is that they do not do Dolby Vision. I can't remember why that is. I don't know if it's a technical issue or a licensing issue or what, but I know there is something where now that I think that is changing, but at least I bought this projector like 2 years ago. And of course, it definitely was not an option at the time. But one of the things that this Panasonic player does do, it does optimize the video quality, especially for projectors. There's something about the way it can handle the image, which just makes it look even better on projectors, which obviously means a lot to me, especially since one of the things I definitely want to do in the new year is really up my reviews on this channel. you know, again, and I'll cover that in the next video. You know, I need a capable player that's make it so that I can give, you know, full honest reviews and share my thoughts and everything. Not that the ones I've given so far aren't, but you know what I mean. I need the best possible presentation as possible. And honestly, just for my own sake, like I really wanted to try and get the best player I could. And again, I've spent so much time researching and sort of going the pluses and minuses. Obviously, one of the minuses for this one is definitely the cost. I'm not going to lie about it. I would have been happy with a player, you know, like half as much. But the thing is, everything I kept reading is just like, you know, if you can go for this player, you know, if you can try and swing the price, because it is, I believe right now, currently, at least as far as consumer products go, I believe it's technically considered the best 4K player on the market. And the thing is, the market is not what it was, you know, with Blu-ray or DVD especially, where we had new players like all the time, you know, especially with DVD. I mean, like, you know, there were new players from almost all the major companies like every single year. And then that sort of slowed down a little bit with Blu-ray, where I think we were getting new players maybe every other year from some of the main companies. But with 4K, that's just not the case. You know, that's the and I'm going to cover that in a video. Again, that's one of the videos I'm going to be doing next year. And when I say next year, I mean, it's going to be early in the year. Just about physical media, the 4K format, and everything. But in relation to players, options are limited. There's only a couple players out there. You know, I think it was like Sony, Panasonic, I think LG, and like Samsung, I think has, like, there aren't that many options. So you have to kind of weigh like, well, what can I do? And some of these have been out, again, even the Panasonic that I have now, that came out in what, 2019, I believe. I was actually tempted to get a player, but I was like waiting to see like, well, maybe there'll be some announcements, you know, in 2022, and nothing. And even for next year, I mean, even if there is an upgrade, it might be a minor one. And so I kind of weigh the pluses and minuses. And basically the thing that kind of really put me over is I was watching this, when I settled on this is the player I want to get, then I obviously watched it. And it actually went on sale. The first time since I've been watching these players, this one specifically actually went on sale. I've seen the other ones go on sale, but this is the first time I ever saw this one went on sale for, it was 150 off. And I was able to get 2 years to kind of finance it, which definitely helps because I can, you know, gives me some breathing room there. But yeah, it was kind of one of those where I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to go for it, I might as well just go for the one that I feel will really benefit me the most. Not just in my own viewing habits and, you know, with the projector back there, but also helping me in do reviews and everything. And as I said at the beginning of this video, actually, I don't have it hooked up yet because I'm trying to do some changes to this room, but I do want to hook it up actually very, very soon, obviously, because I need to test it out, make sure it's okay, and the off chance I need to get a replacement for it. So I do need to actually get it set up. And once I do, what I want to do is literally almost find a day at some point and just clear it as best I can. And that's my only goal that day, is to set up the player and grab a bunch of movies, especially ones that I've had issues with in the past, and, you know, kind of jump through and just see, like, was it worth it or did I make a big mistake, you know? So it'll be interesting. I will definitely share my thoughts on that. But I'm very excited to actually make this purchase, even though I'm like, so part of me is just like, But again, the 2 years does help, at least on some level. And obviously I wanted to share this with you because it is very, very special. You know, I don't get gear like I used to, you know, back in the day. I used to, I think, upgrade things a little bit more frequently. Definitely can't do that anymore. And obviously it means some good things for the channel as well. So definitely let me know your thoughts. If you have any questions on the player, on things you want me to look for when I do actually get it set up and I start kind of checking it out, definitely let me know. Or if you think I've made the biggest mistake in my life, you can share that too. Just be nice about it, at least, you know. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.